With the version 3.0 livestream and the official banners released for the next phase, the banners are looking stacked. For the first time, we're getting 6 limited-time banners for 6 characters, which includes 2 brand new units and arguably the best 2 DPS in the game alongside their best-in-slot supports, making this the most stacked banners in the history of Wuthering Waves. So today, we'll be breaking down the best pulls you can make for the next patch. We'll cover the rerun units, their key highlights, and future viability, especially with the new characters coming in. So let's start with the strongest pair currently in the game. Cartethyia. Cartethyia currently holds the strongest team in the game alongside Ciaccona and Ciaccona, making her arguably the strongest DPS right now. This will be her first rerun. She is an HP scaling DPS and uses a negative status called Aero Erosion to deal most of her damage. She's not a very simple character to play, but in easy words, you need to activate her 3 swords that you can see near her forte bar by performing her intro skill, her basic attack combo, and her resonance skill. Each sword gives you a specific buff. After that, you enter her liberation and do damage, and you also gain another liberation after filling the bar again. And since she's HP scaling, traditional attack buffers like Verena, Moonlit Cloud, or Rejuvenating Glow are just useless on her, making her way more restrictive when it comes to team options. But she does have a very free-to-play option with Aero Rover, because he helps by providing Aero Erosion stacks, and especially his weapon, which grants an arrow damage bonus, making him a solid option. Apart from that, you can use someone like Sonha for a basic attack buff since her damage is considered basic attack damage, and that's it. She does have more options when you consider premium 5-star supports such as Ciaccona and Ciaccona, which is her best team currently. Before talking about other options, let me introduce you to Loot Bar. They're offering insane discounts compared to in-game prices, plus extra special offers running for the current banners. And you don't have to share any details either, because they support self-top-ups, making it one of the safest methods. Just click my link below to get all the discounts. Now talking about Ciaccona, she's also getting her rerun alongside Cartethyia. Being her best-in-slot support, her value is insane, especially if you are pulling Cartethyia or already have her. Ciaccona does around a whopping 40% more team-wide damage than Carthethia's free-to-play option, which makes her a must if you want to maximize Carthethia's damage. But what does she actually do? First, Carthethia's kit is heavily dependent on Aero Erosion stacks. Enemies with 1 to 3 erosion stacks take an extra 30% more damage from Cartethyia, and enemies with more than 3 stacks take an additional 10% damage per stack, up to a maximum of 60% total bonus at 6 stacks. And this is not it. Ciaccona also provides 100% Aero Erosion damage for all resonators for 30 seconds. All of these buffs make Ciaccona an insane buffer, and a must to maximize Cartethyia. But is Cartethyia worth it in 2026 without Ciaccona? We'll get to it. First, let's actually see how good Ciaccona is as a solo unit. As said, she is a good damage dealer and uses Aero Erosion as a major source of damage, but she can be played alongside units like Gion and Iuno in mono arrow setups where the team damage ceiling is actually pretty high. But if you ask me, in 2026, is she a unit you can pull for her solo value? I would say no. She's not anywhere close to being the best-in-slot support for any DPS, and her personal damage, even after being pretty good, is not worth investing 80 pulls. Now, let's take a look at the other duo, Augusta and Iuno. Technically, this is the second strongest duo in the entire game. Augusta is currently the second best DPS in the game as well. She is also not very easy to play because she has multiple forte mechanics you need to fill to get her liberation. And, talking about liberation, she also has 2 liberation modes similar to Cartethyia. The first liberation is very simple, since you get it once you have enough energy, but the second liberation is where you have to perform certain combos to gain it fully. You can watch the full guide for a more in-depth breakdown. Now, coming to key highlights, she is a heavy attack damage dealer and scales from attack. Unlike Cartethyia, since she scales from attack, she can fit with almost all traditional supports, making her a way more flexible unit. She also has an insane free-to-play option like Mortithie, alongside Verena, which is actually pretty strong and can be compared to her premium teams. Augusta, according to me, is the most free-to-play friendly DPS in the game because she can be paired with numerous options, and the damage falloff is not anywhere close compared to the Cartethyia and Ciaccona situation. Talking about team options, her teams are formulated with a heavy attack buffer and a general buffer. For a general buffer, you can use Verena, who can be replaced by Shorekeeper, Baiji, or even the newly added Buling. And the second option is generally a pure heavy attack buffer, such as Mortifi, Iuno, and even Frolova can be used. As said, Iuno is by far her best in slot support. She provides 50% heavy attack damage bonus from her outro and 40% damage bonus through her forte, which is honestly made for Augusta as no other character can use it, making her an insane option. She also, aside from buffs, can deal a very noticeable amount of damage and can even be played as a pure DPS alongside someone like Ciaccona because her DPS ceiling is pretty good, but her main role is to use her massive outro buff for heavy attack damage dealers like Augusta and Gian. And yes, she is also the best unit for Gian. If you like his playstyle, you might want to get Uno, because she is a must, especially for Gian, whose personal damage is not anywhere close to Augusta in the current meta, and to make him viable, you might want to get Uno, especially as we're entering a new region, which is going to increase the DPS ceiling even higher. Now, as we have discussed the key highlights for every unit, let's actually make a priority list. For players who already have one of the duos, it is highly recommended to complete the duo, especially if you have Cartethyia without Ciaccona, because you're entering a new region and the DPS ceiling is expected to go higher, so Ciaccona might be a must for Cartethyia users to make her relevant till the end of version 3.x.
She is a massive damage boost, and Cartethyia without Ciaccona is not even anywhere close to the current best teams. And the main factor of this is Cartethyia being an HP scaling DPS, which cuts out the most used supports, making her way more restrictive. She also has more problems, like she needs someone who can group enemies. Units like Chisa and Ciaccona help a lot, but otherwise you are going to fully rely on Aero Rover. Trust me, you are going to have a headache, especially in Whimpering Waste. And if you don't have Cartethyia and Ciaccona, I would even suggest skipping both and just focusing on the newer units instead. Coming to Augusta, her situation is a little different. Even though Iuno is insanely good for her, she does have multiple options. And if you ask me, just my opinion, seeing her kit with one of the fastest on-field times as a DPS, I see her future in dual DPS compositions, such as with Frolova and Cantarella, where she can use and provide her outro buffs and act as a quick swap unit similar to Changli. And as said, being an attack scaling DPS, she has multiple options, and you can use her in many ways. So yes, if you can complete the Cartethyia duo, you should go for it, or just skip it. And Augusta, I think, is still a very good option even as a solo unit if you have savings for Iuno for her, or just skip. She is extra luxury at this point of the game because we expect a lot of new units, and especially with the anniversary on the edge, you never know, they might even give a free unit. I hope this video helped you decide the best unit, and we will be making a dedicated video for the newer units, so stay tuned.